Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So we got some news in the Barcelona world today, as it was reported earlier that apparently Joshua Kimmich and Nico Williams are priority number one for Barcelona during this summer transfer window. And look, first of all, before I give my opinion on that whole thing, I want to tell you guys this. Obviously, we know as Barca fans, the summer for Barcelona is always a mess. We get linked to every single different player and their mom. There's all these different reports that come out that have no credibility and no backing whatsoever. It's just a mess. I mean, Barca over the past couple of days have been getting linked to Jeremy Frimpong, obviously from Leverkusen, and to me, that's just stupid. It's just not going to happen. He's been getting linked to Barca so much that Frimpong has been asked about it non-stop at the years when he's doing his interviews. And again, to me, it's not something that's going to happen because Frimpong, number one, he can't play at Barca because he can't play in a four-back. He is a right wing back or really a right mid. And obviously he's a great player. He had a great season at Leverkusen. But for him to come to Barca, to me, it'd be stupid business on the side of the club. And I don't think Barca's stupid enough to bring in a guy like Jeremy Frimpong because we already have too many one-dimensional fullbacks like Joao Cancelo to bring in a guy like Frimpong. So to me, I didn't bother talking about that even though it's been linked over the past couple of days. It's been like heavily rumored because to me, that's not going to happen. But the reason why I'm not ignoring these rumors when it comes to Kimmich and Nico Williams is because unlike Frimpong, these rumors didn't come out of nowhere. We've been getting linked to Joshua Kimmich and Nico Williams over the past couple months, and for Joshua Kimmich, it's honestly been over the past couple years. So obviously, these reports have some backing and some credibility. And to me, look, I'm glad that Barca are moving in the direction that we wanted to move in, obviously finding another midfielder, finding a winger. Am I happy with Joshua Kimmich coming to Barca? No. Like, I obviously, if you guys watch my Barcelona ranking summer transfer targets, that video that I made about a month back, I was not really, I'm not too keen on bringing in Joshua Kimmich to Barca. I think Barca need a pivot, an actual pivot. Like, fucking Declan Rice, even though he's actually not a pivot. Like a Rodri, something like that. Like a pivot like that. Like a Subimendi, a guy, or like a Ronana. A guy who's actually a pivot. That's his primary position. And for us to go out and get a Joshua Kimmich, who to me is better as a right back, it doesn't really work as a pivot, it's not smart. I would rather go out and get Angelo Stiller, who has like kind of same profile as Joshua Kimmich, but he's younger and obviously he has a ceiling that he can reach. Joshua Kimmich is 30 years old, and do I still think that Joshua Kimmich is a good player? Sure, he can play multiple positions. He can play as a right back, he can play as obviously as a DM, and he can do a job. Like, he's not a terrible DM when he plays there, obviously. But to me, I think Barca should be going out and getting someone better because we know that that's the number one priority for Barca this summer. It's not the winger, it's the pivot. And for us to kind of settle with Joshua Kimmich, who I understand he has a relationship with Hansi Flick. Obviously, they work together at Bayern, and Kimmich had a great year under Flick at Bayern. One of his best seasons, in my opinion. That treble-winning year, he was fantastic, along with Goretzka, of course, and Thiago. That midfield was dominant. But to me, I'm not too keen on Joshua Kimmich and bringing him into Barca because, again, I feel like Barca should be going out and getting a guy who's an actual pivot. A guy who can, let's just say we get Joshua Kimmich, right? And Barca want to play this double pivot of Frankie de Jong and Joshua Kimmich. I think both of those guys are great players. Obviously, I think Frankie de Jong is better and he's younger, obviously. But I think they're both really, really good players. That, to me, wouldn't work. There's not enough defensive cover there because both of those guys are not the best defensively, and while yes they are good at winning those duels in the midfield every now and then, it's just not good enough. You need a staple at that, like in the back of that midfield, and to me that's more of a guy like Onana, who while I don't think he's a Barca profile per se because he's not great with his feet, he is very physical and he is a very smart player when he's obviously defensively he can read the game really, really well. I'm talking about Onana from Everton, by the way. Subimendi, who I'm very keen on, even though Barca have kind of slowed down on him, like he hasn't been rumored as much over the past couple months. Well, again, like I said, is great on the ball, like a Busquets region. He's amazing on the ball. Even Merino, who's also not a DM from Real Sociedad, but I think he fits the Barca profile more than a guy who like Joshua Kimmich. Well, again, I believe Barca are too eager to bring him in when he's not really the player that we need. His best position is a right back. If you want to bring him in to play right back, that's fine because Barca obviously need fullback depth. But to bring in Joshua Kimmich, it's just to me like I don't really get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe most Barca fans disagree with me. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below. But to me, just being so insistent on bringing in Kimmich, like Xavi wanted him. Now it looks like Hansi Flick wants him. It makes no sense to me. I think Barca should be getting out and getting a better player. If you want to bring in a guy who's not really a DM but is more of a ball winner, like Angelo Stiller or Merino, bring in those guys instead. Because it looks like Flick wants a ball winner. You know, he wants Merino's good at winning the ball back. Stiller's good. He's decent at winning the ball back as well. And obviously Joshua Kimmich. They're all kind of ball winning DMs, not so much ball winning midfielders. Sorry, not so much DMs. Which I like that. It looks like he has a profile in mind that he wants. But again, I would rather go for the younger and to me more promising options in Stiller or Merino than go for a guy like Joshua Kimmich. So that's my opinion on Kimmich, and obviously you guys knew that already. I'm not a big fan of him. It's not that I'm not a big fan of him as a player. I think he's a really, really good player. I really do believe that. But right now for Barca, I don't think he's the best. And I think if Barca are gonna overspend on him, again, I would rather go out and get a better player who's younger and more promising and has more of a ceiling that they can, like that Hansi Flick can kind of exploit and tap into. And again, all these rumors are stupid because Barca will still need to find out if they're going to get back to the one-on-one rule, which is obviously very important for the club. The whole Nike deal, like right now, it's obviously it's mid-June. Like nothing's going to happen now. The Euros are obviously going on, the Copa America. We're obviously going to find out a lot more about Barca's concrete plan during the transfer window when the Euros and the Copa America are over, or around that time when they're about to finish. But obviously, these are, like, the news are starting to come out about who Hansi Flick kind of wants. And for me, seeing that he wants Joshua Kimmich, it's just not something that I want to see personally. But again, I'm sure he has his reasoning as to why. And we'll see what happens moving forward. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Joshua Kimmich. But obviously, a lot of you guys knew that already. And I was talking about Nico Williams because obviously in that video where I talked about Joshua Kimmich in my Barca transfer targets videos, I put Nico Williams, he was also in that video by the way, I put Nico Williams in priority. I think Nico Williams should be a priority for Barcelona. But here's the thing, bro. Nico Williams, like, you have to get rid of somebody because Nico Williams is going to play on the left. And you already have Rafinha on the left. And it looks like Ferran Torres is going to stay. It looks like Barca obviously not going to accept that bid from Newcastle for fucking 15 million, which is super cheap. It looks like Joao Felix is going to stay. It looks like you're going to bring back Ansu Fati. So you're going to have, if you bring in Nico Williams, you're going to have Nico Williams, Ferran Torres, Joao Felix, Rafinha, and Ansu Fati. You're going to have 5 left wingers, and you're going to have one guy who plays on the left, on the right, and that's Lamine Yamal. And that's theoretically the guy that you want to give the most rest to because he's your youngest player and he's the future of your team. He's the guy who's hopefully going to carry Barca, not carry Barca, but be the face of Barcelona for the next 15, 20 years. But I don't understand why we're so, like, we got to get rid of somebody. If you're going to bring in Nico Williams, which I really want, I really want Nico Williams to come in because it looks like he has a good rapport with the Spanish players, especially Lamine Yamal. It looks like, obviously, they're on the national team right now. They get asked about playing together. And it would be really cool to see Nico Williams at Barcelona. And I think he's a really, really good player. I think he has a great profile. Obviously, not the biggest goal-scoring threat, but creating out wide, he's very, very good at that. Now, me personally, I think Rafinha is a little bit better as of right now. I would start Rafinha. Like, first game of the season, if we get Nico Williams, I would still start Rafinha on the left. But I think Nico could be the good first option off the bench or even start some games. Now, like I said, but you got to get rid of somebody. Because how many left wingers can you have? Now, I get injuries happen, but again, it's a lot of dead weight on that team. Like I said, you got to get rid of either Ferran, Ansu, and Joao Felix. And it looks like Hansi Flick, to my surprise, actually, really likes Joao Felix. I don't know why. It looks like he wants to keep Joao Felix. I was just shocked, and it looks like he's gonna stay on another on a loan deal for one more year. But for me, I don't see why Barca would have to. Like, we're just carrying too many left wingers and not enough right wingers. I mean, it's just an imbalance on the team when it comes to, players per position. And I think Barca should obviously get rid of somebody. But I think Nico Williams is a great option because we're missing kind of that creating out wide threat. Someone who could just kind of, take on players. Rafinha's a lot. He's not really that type of winger. And for me, I think that would be a good signing. I think Nico Williams is a guy who's very promising, who can obviously help this team a lot. And again, he has a rapport with the young Spanish players already, most notably Lamine Yamal. I think that can help the team a lot. That can help him obviously integrate himself into the team a lot easier than if he didn't know anybody. And obviously, he's a kid from Spain. He obviously knows, like, I'm guessing, I don't think he wants to go to the Premier League. He wants to stay in Spain, most likely. Again, I haven't spoken to him. I'll get on a call with him later on today. But I'm guessing he wants to go to Barca. That's a place, that's a great team, obviously, in Barcelona, a historic team. And I think that he would be happy with that. But again, for me, my biggest thing is, I like the fact that we're getting linked to all these players and these guys that we need in those positions. But it just seems like, for Kimmich, it's just a guy that we ideally, we could do better in my opinion. And for Nico Williams, yes, bring him in. Like, I would be happy with that. But get rid of somebody else. Like, you got to get rid of somebody because if you're going to keep Ansu, Ferran, Rafinha, Nico Williams, and you're going to have Joao Felix, I mean, bro, all those guys play on the left. Now, obviously, Rafinha can play on the right, but I think he's better on the left personally. And then on the right, you have who? Lamine Yamal. I know Ferran can play on the right, but who really wants to see fucking Ferran play on the right? I don't want to see Ferran play on the right. I don't want to see Ferran at Barca period. I don't want to see Joao Felix at Barca period. I hope both of them would leave. But for me, again, I think Nico Williams, if you're asking me Nico Williams or Luis Diaz, obviously Nico Williams. I don't know why we're getting linked to Luis Diaz, especially for a swap, like Rafinha, Luis Diaz swap. Do I think Luis Diaz is a better player than Rafinha? Yeah, but slightly. And for us to just swap him like that, it makes no sense to me. It would just be stupid. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on this whole situation. Again, Barca news are kind of slow right now, but I did see this report and I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about it and let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you guys think we need Joshua Kimmich? Do you guys think we need Nico Williams? Do you guys think that these guys would be actually good additions to the team? Again, I gave you guys my thoughts already. I think Kimmich is a guy who's a good player, but I think Barca can do better in that role. And also for Nico Williams, yes, bring him in, but you got to get rid of somebody else or maybe 2 players because to have that many options on the left, like I said, I know players get injured, but it's just too many options, and a lot of guys were just too inconsistent. We're actually not going to do anything when they actually come on the pitch. or like you're just rolling the dice basically. Like when Ferran Torres comes onto the pitch, you're rolling the dice. When Joao Felix comes onto the pitch, you're rolling the dice. Even when Ansu Fati, I hate to say it because I did once, like I really believed in Ansu once, but when he's coming onto the pitch, you're rolling the dice with him too. So for me, again, I think that's just not a good way for Barca to start next season. But again, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. I love every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.